What did your child say in court that saved someone's life? My 5-year-old daughter's neighbor, Carlos, was a 19-year-old who worked 3 jobs to support his younger siblings. Every morning, he'd wave to Lily on his way to work, and she'd run to the fence to show him her drawings. Lily called him her best grown-up friend. One Saturday morning, police cars surrounded Carlos's house. There had been a break-in 6 blocks away, and someone gave them Carlos's name as a suspect. The elderly victim, Mrs. Patterson, was in intensive care, fighting for her life after being brutally attacked during the robbery. The evidence seemed overwhelming. Carlos matched the description: young Hispanic male, about 6 feet tall. He'd been doing odd jobs in that neighborhood. Most damning, they found Mrs. Patterson's stolen jewelry in his work truck, though Carlos swore someone planted it there. Carlos was arrested and charged with aggravated robbery and attempted murder. His family couldn't afford a good lawyer. The prosecution painted him as a dangerous criminal targeting vulnerable elderly victims. He was looking at 25 years to life for a crime I was certain he didn't commit. I knew Carlos was innocent. I'd seen him that Saturday morning working in our shared garden, but the timeline was tight. That's when I remembered Lily had been playing in our backyard that entire morning, chattering nonstop to Carlos while he worked. She'd been helping him plant tomatoes and asking him a million questions. I called Carlos's lawyer about Lily's potential testimony. He was skeptical. Child witnesses are unreliable, but I insisted we try. We spent hours preparing Lily, explaining she needed to tell the truth about that Saturday morning when Carlos was planting vegetables. The prosecution had presented their case with confidence: DNA evidence, witness descriptions, and stolen jewelry. When the defense called Lily to the stand, the courtroom went silent as this tiny girl walked up to the witness box. The judge adjusted the microphone down to her level. "Lily," the lawyer began gently, "do you remember Saturday morning when Carlos was working in your garden?" She nodded seriously. "We were planting the tomato babies," she said clearly. "Carlos was very careful with them because baby plants can die if you're not gentle." "What else do you remember?" She brightened. "Carlos taught me about bugs, and he showed me how his hands were all dirty from the special plant food, and he said he couldn't touch anything clean until we washed them." The lawyer asked, "Did Carlos wash his hands that morning?" "Oh yes," she said proudly. "We washed them together at the garden faucet with the special soap. Carlos said dirty hands make everything dirty, so we scrubbed until they were super clean." But then Lily added something that changed everything. "And Carlos was very sad about his work gloves." The lawyer asked her to explain. "He lost his special work gloves on Friday, and he was worried about getting his hands cut up from thorny plants. He showed me all the scratches on his hands from working without gloves." The prosecutor went pale. The DNA evidence came from blood where the attacker cut himself climbing through a window, but Carlos's hands were already scratched from garden work. Lily wasn't done. And Carlos's truck was making funny noises, so he had to borrow tools from Mr. Johnson to fix it. That's why his truck was unlocked, so Mr. Johnson could put the tools back. She'd just explained how someone could have planted the jewelry.